Access to justice often depends upon access to legal advice and representation. We know that isn't always available and that there are many who have to represent themselves, and they do so at a considerable disadvantage. Often access to justice is really meaningless without somebody to give advice and represent a litigant in court. That's where pro bono comes in to pick up the pieces. Well, I think pro bono work will always be necessary. There are always going to be gaps, and there are always going to be members of the bar who are public-spirited enough and concerned enough about access to justice to want to fill those gaps. So I can't see the need for pro bono work going away. Indeed, I think the moves towards formalising certain aspects of it, for example, allowing pro bono costs orders to be made, are entirely welcome. So pro bono will always have a place. It won't displace the need for investment in the justice system, which we'll continue to press for. But I think members of the bar will see it as valuable, not only in terms of providing access to justice, but also in terms of enhancing their own career development and exposure to work across perhaps a wider range of work than they might otherwise get from the standard areas of practice. Yes, I've always undertaken pro bono work during my career. I've tried to set myself a target most years of doing a certain amount of pro bono work, not just for Advocate, which I tended to do in my earlier years, but latterly for some of the big firms of solicitors who have now entire pro bono targets and departments, and who are in a position, I think, to do some of the heavier litigation. So, for example, I think the last sizable case I did was 3 days in the Court of Appeal, appearing for the British Legion as part of a pro bono case where my solicitors were a city firm. Well, the obvious piece of advice would be to get involved, because there's a lot to be gained from pro bono work, not just in terms of contributing to access to justice and helping, but also in terms of career and practice development. It's an opportunity to get involved, perhaps in areas of work which aren't part of the normal work that you undertake as part of your practice, and to do so with the assistance of other members of the bar and in the context of organisations like Advocate, which will support you and give you a range of cases in which you'll be able to be involved. It's tempting to think that you haven't got anything to offer. The reverse is true, and if you get involved, I'm sure you're going to find that it's a valuable and rewarding experience.